Anthony, how are you? Hey, baby dog, Alexis. Alexis is my honey bunny. We are in, where are we? We are in Winter Park or Winter Garden? Winter something. A lot of winters. Oh, let me do this. I can read from there. All right. RodneyRogersOutdoors.com.
Oh. All right, buddy.
I actually look cool with my glasses.
You like it? You just could do that all night. You just stay there.
Yeah. Do it. Can I do this?
Yeah, Kim's over at Sister's tonight there. She went over there for dinner. Oh, put your headphones on.
I should have went over for dinner.
I don't know what they have.
Does she cook good?
She cooks real good, yeah.
Oh, that's what I'm talking.
So I've just been running around the house and leaving the front door open and doing loads of laundry with one T-shirt,
Barefooted.
mixing reds and whites. All kinds of stuff.
That's my favorite. You smell your clothes before you put them in the washer, make sure they're clean. You're like, I can get one more day out of this shirt.
I can't get caught smelling them, though, because
oh, no,
that's instant. Yeah, that's an instant penalty.
Ejection.
Goes right in the... She says if you have to smell it.
Well, you always have to smell it.
I know. That's
How are you supposed to sort the clean ones from the dirty ones?
That is
clean.
That is how you do it.
You know how you can tell a dirty one? Oh, my God.
Yeah, if it smells bad to us, it's dirty.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's... I'll be the judge.
Normally, I go like, I smell the shirt in my hand, and then I smell the one I'm wearing, and I go, well, they're pretty close.
It's A-B comparison. All right, well, tonight just might be the night I get naked on the air, so let's see what happens here.
You're listening to Rodney Rogers Outdoors Radio, where we turn it upside down and look at the outside from the inside out. It's safe, it's legal, and we're having a blast. So put your shoes on, my friend, because we're going outdoors.
Welcome to Rodney. Boy, I just screamed. I'm sorry to blow your eardrums out. Welcome to Rodney Rogers Outdoors. I am Rodney Rogers. That right there is my partner, Coach He's in Crime, the man himself.
Never, ever take a sleeping pill and a laxative on the same night.
Might call himself.
I'll spare you the details.
Please
take my word for it.
If you want to participate in our show tonight, you can call us at 262-345-7763. We will goose the moose for you. We haven't done that in a while. So give us a call with any questions. If you want to shoot Mike a text with a question, we're going to be talking some pretty exciting stuff. You can shoot that right to his iPad, one of the mini iPads right in his face. It is hashtag on Twitter. It's hashtag RROR. And he'll get that question right away, and we'll answer it directly. If you have an outdoors question, an animal question, we don't care. If it's about the outdoors, if you got a political question, wrong show. We don't even go down that road because we don't care. We care, but we care privately. We just want to live in the outdoors, don't we?
This is not that show.
Not the show. And of course, you can you can hit us up. You can leave us a voicemail on our website at RodneyRogersOutdoors.com. We do this show live every Tuesday at 8 p.m. If you're listening to iTunes, you can check us out on iTunes. If you didn't know that, just look up Rodney Rogers Outdoors on iTunes, and we're there.
Yeah,
there we are.
YouTube,
Rodney Rogers Outdoors.
Facebook,
Rodney Rogers Outdoors.
Did you give the number?
262-345-7763.
If you're listening live, and if you're listening and it's Tuesday from 8 to 9 p.m.,
call the show.
Give us
and if it's Wednesday, 8 to 9 p.m.,
call.
It will ring to my phone, I assure you.
So how you been?
Mike, I have been awesome. This is absolutely my favorite time of the year.
Because 417 is on fire, I heard. That is not a traffic alert from what I gathered.
It's not a traffic alert. It is on fire. Actually, if you live in Central Florida and you live near a pond, you need to get some fishing gear and get out in that pond because I'll tell you what, it's absolutely, positively awesome. hands down. So everywhere you go, inshore, offshore, bass fishing, crappie fishing. I mean, we've caught tons of bluegill. I'm gonna tell you what I did this weekend. So um, we went fishing. We just hit random ponds. My cousin and his son, and I took my nephew Randy, who you know very well. Does he was excited to go. We started out Friday night catfishing. He was the only one that caught a catfish.
Now, where were you?
We were in Lake Toho. We were in Shingle Creek. Um, Catfishing's not
Yeah,
my
but
forte.
when you posted, you did a Facebook Live video, right?
Yeah, I did a
But
couple.
you were under some sort of structure, like a bridge or like a.
Yes, that on that creek, there's a neighborhood that has canals, and you pull up there, and it lifts your boat up, and it puts it in Lake Toho in Shingle Creek. So what we were under, we were in a boat under that
Okay.
that canopy where they
Okay.
put your boat at. So that's how we do that. So yeah. So we were there. Randy was catching some bluegill, and that's what he caught his catfish on. He had a couple. Actually, Randy was the only one that got hits all night.
Really?
Absolutely. Might I add, I want to go out on a limb and say you might not want to direct your fishing questions to me because I'm a little rusty.
It's a whole different technique, correct?
It is a different technique. It's a whole nother. I'm not a big live.
I always thought catfish was like the booby prize of fishing.
in some cases.
You're fishing.
Yeah, you get it.
Dang
Oh
it.
man, I got a fish. It's a catfish.
Here, no, you take it off. No, you take it off.
So yeah, it's one of my favorite fish to eat. You know what I mean? If I'm keeping catfish, fish, it's going to be
Sure, yeah.
We had a big family event Friday as well. We had a big family fish fry cookout where we kept some bass and we filleted them. We ate gar. We ate catfish. We ate what else did we eat? Bluegills. We had all kind of fish. We ate shrimp. We just had like a crab boil fish fry. So it was absolutely awesome. All my family was there. Man, I enjoyed that to no end. So, dude, I mean, we had a great weekend.
Good.
And then we started out bass fishing. We fished all weekend. Total of about 75 counted bass, maybe 80. We may have missed a few here and there, but we took pictures of every fish, and I didn't want to post a picture of every fish. It was ridiculous.
Have you increased your yearly count?
I have. We're in the 130s.
That's pretty good.
So, yeah, for the year count, for those of you that don't know, I'm trying to catch 365 bass in a year. That was Amy Brown from our Facebook. She did it, and I want to do it. I say, I've done it. I've just never counted. That's a lot of fish, Mike.
Yeah.
I can honestly say now, I don't think I've done it.
Now, is there a chance you've actually caught more than that and haven't documented them? Or have you been pretty
No.
I would disciplined about taking the photo?
No. Yeah, now, this year so far, I have been absolutely disciplined. I will not fish if I don't have my camera.
Well, I love the podcast when you were on Salt Strong's podcast and you were talking about selfies and your daughter's like you're busting your daughter's chops for taking so many selfies. She's like, you take all the selfies too, Dad. And you're like, no, I don't.
No, I
and
don't.
she's look, pulls up your phone. Of course, you're like, but mine are all with fish, and that doesn't constitute a selfie.
To
if it's
me,
you and the fish.
What do you think about it? So if you're listening, and
That's documentation.
It's documentation. If you take a selfie and you have a fish in your hand, is that considered a selfie? I mean, really?
It's a whole different purpose, I think. As long as you're not lifting the camera up and puckering your lips with the fish.
Yeah.
One of those. That's the.
Yeah.
Sorry, I brought it up.
The duck lips.
The duck lips.
Put the duck lips on your selfie.
I'll be watching for that on your next one, Rodney. You got to do that.
Clint Updike is chilling on a boat and watching us and hanging out, and that's pretty cool.
I'd actually like to be there.
He's trolling and just
no way.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Got a live shiner.
Oh, we need a selfie of that if you don't mind there.
We need Clint. We need a fish selfie.
Send us a picture so we can put that on the website. That's awesome. I love that. Of course, it's hard to watch on your phone. And so here's a public service announcement.
Public service announcement.
There's a phone scam.
A phone scam. You're on Facebook Live too, so.
There's a phone scam. So I'm at work yesterday, and I get this call from my wife.
Yes.
And she is hysterical. not laughing.
Okay.
Out of her, like I've never heard her before.
Like just hysterical.
Hysterical.
It's ridiculous.
And her first words are, "Where are you?"
Oh, yeah, you know it's bad.
Yeah, where are you? And she's crying. She's just lost it.
Uh-oh.
And of course, the first thing that come my mind is there's a snake in the house.
Or a lizard.
Yeah, I'm like, hang on, let me hang up and call Rodney, and he'll be right over.
Right.
But this is for real. So somebody called on her cell phone, and I don't know the whole story, but basically said, "Hey, are you the emergency contact for somebody? Your number come up on his phone." She said, "Yes, my husband." And they said, "What does he drive?" And she said, "He drives a motorcycle." And they said, "Your husband has been in a critical car accident."
Stop.
Yeah. And it proceeded to get worse and worse, and something about being held up at gunpoint, and I guess these people freak people out, and they want you to send money so they can do some sort of emergency
Are
operation.
you serious?
Yeah. And so it got carried away, and then Kim finally said, told him, I'm calling the cops, because they said a few things that tipped her off.
Okay.
But she's already at the point of thinking, my husband's dead.
Right.
And it was incredibly bizarre. So, I
Wow.
talked, I'm like, nope, I'm here. I'm fine.
Yeah.
Nothing's wrong. And so we called the police, and they basically said it's a scam going on. There's nothing we can do.
Really,
I'm
yeah.
sorry that happened to you is really all they said. So
Wow.
but that could cause someone a sincere heart attack. You could, the wrong person, or
Yeah.
somebody who's elderly or not, got a good heart, gets that phone call.
Wow.
You could do serious. So how warped is that?
That's Mike, that's scary.
So yeah, that was kind of an interesting story. But I think it's important that people know that if you're at home and get a call like that, ladies, about your husband, my daughter had the perfect answer to this last night when we were discussing it. When they said, "What's he drive?" she says, "He drives the hot dog truck." So if they come back and go, "Yes, it was a hot dog truck that got in an accident," then you call their bluff.
There's some shenanigans. He's driving the Wienermobile.
So long story short,
Wow, dude, that would freak me out.
Yeah, it was a moment. It was a moment. But the upside is that I got some really nice texts from my wife the rest of the day.
Oh yeah, you're
Yeah,
alive, honey. I just want to tell you, I love you. And that moment, I didn't realize how much I love you.
So then today she looks out the front door, and there's animal control out front, and she sticks her head out the door, and a guy has
a gun.
Nope, has
Your
released
motorcycle.
a snake into our yard, and
Does he realize what?
Yeah, exactly. So Kim opens the front door.
Okay.
And he had said he had got it out of a house down the street, and he was releasing it into the woods behind our house. Well, we do not have woods.
No.
There's another subdivision back there. So basically, he's releasing the snake into our yard.
Right.
And Kim sees the thing coming and a little antagonistic, and she slams the door, and that was the end of the story. But she texts me saying, "Hey, there's a snake out front, and I'm not hysterical."
Okay, so we're making progress.
We're making
here.
progress here.
We're getting here.
Well, I digress.
You're alive.
But anyways, there's your public service announcement. If you get one of these scam calls,
You've had a weird weekend. I'm just saying.
And I said, I hope I don't get in an accident on the way home. And the cops call her and say your husband's been in an accident, because she'll be hanging up on him and
bleep 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 bleep. You go to bleep bleep bleep. Yeah, they won't get a good response.
I rant, and I apologize, but I rant.
Oh, that is absolutely awesome.
Oh my goodness.
So here we are. We are in April now. April, the March-April window is normally a short window. We've had some cool weather.
And it's closing. We're going into May this weekend.
We're going into May. It's going to start heating up. So, man, now's the time for your fishing poles. I mean, it's absolutely, positively the time. We're doing some offshore fishing this weekend. I got a call from my buddy Manny. He says, "Man, I'm off this weekend. Do you want to go fishing?" First of all, it's a dumb question.
Shame on you, Manny.
I'm very embarrassed that he would ask me a question such as that. Because when he calls me and I pick up the phone, the first thing I say is, "I'm in."
Yep.
I don't even.
Oh, I believe that.
I'm in. What we're doing? Jumping off a bridge. I'm in. So he says, "Well, I got the weekend off." Now, he's a pilot, and he says, "I got the weekend off. I was thinking," and I go, "Whatever." He goes, "We'll get our gear Thursday night. We'll get some oysters. We'll just sit down. We'll go through make sure all of our rods and reels are working, which is normally what we do. We change hooks that need to be changed out. This is our first offshore trip of the season.
Yep.
And the one thing we've learned is we don't go off half cocked. We want fresh hooks. If they sat in a drawer and they got a little dirty.
Do you sharpen the hooks?
Some fishermen do.
I've heard of that.
But hooks are so inexpensive, we replace them.
Yeah.
We do not sharpen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've got rigs. We've got enough rigs that if we lose a hook out in the field, we can change it, and put on new hooks. So we don't go without new hooks.
Okay.
Just because we just don't do it. I've learned that lesson. I don't like it. It's a tough lesson to learn. So this will be our first weekend offshore, since last year, and we're going to take a full advantage. He says, he goes, would you be up to going out both days? I said, heck, man, I don't care if we leave Saturday morning, we don't come home till Monday morning. I'll call in to work Monday. If you're listening, boss, that's a joke. We're not calling.
Unless I'm not there, then.
Unless I'm not there, then I'm very sick because I'm feeling a little parched.
The sea air.
So it's just that time. It's mahi. I'm watching people. My buddy Bart just called me right before we started the show, and so it was. He says, "Hey man, you're not gonna believe this. He went out and caught what was gaffers. What we call gaffers,
Large mahi.
which is mahi big enough. You've been offshore many times. It's that you have to gaff them to get them in the boat. So that's those are 10 to 15 pound mahis, gaffers in that range. So it's it's just one of those things where now's the time. This is where the fish the feeding season, everything's starting to migrate. Bass are starting to come off the beds and start feeding up. And you know what I was going to say? We did a special on bass bedding and all that stuff. I've got to recant some stuff.
Really?
Yeah, the water's warmed up quite a bit, and there's bass bedding right now. I pulled bass off the bed this weekend, which we shouldn't be. The water technically
When you say you pulled bass off the bed, they're on the where they've laid the eggs?
Right, where they're laying the eggs, water temperature-wise, Florida bass are supposed to be spawning around water temperature from, 58 to 65 degrees, even as warm as 70 degrees. And we've got 75-degree water that these bass are bedding in. Some of them are even 80.
Now, how do you know that?
How do I know the temperature?
No, how do you know they're bedding?
Because I can see the beds, and I actually hooked them and pulled them off their beds.
Okay.
And caught,
So that's how you know you're pulling off the beds, because you physically are seeing them.
Yeah, you physically see them sitting in the bed. So what you do is you toss your bait in the bed, and you just wait till they get tired of it being there, and they want to clean it out. And when they grab that bait to spit it off the bed, that's when you set the hook. So we actually pulled bass off the beds, which I thought was odd for this time of year. It's a little bit late to be pulling fish off the beds.
Is it because it's still cool? Is it because
It
it's
has
warming
to
up
be. It
slower?
has to be. There has to be a cusp from 58 to in that 75 to 77 degree range. So just goes to show you we can't predict it right all the time. Some but fish are fish.
Well, and
the majority may bass at those may bed at those temperatures, but
and keep your eyes open.
Yeah, if you're walking
adjust,
along,
right?
Absolutely. If you're walking along those banks, you see a bed. I mean, we've seen some giant bass in beds this weekend. I'm talking up to 12 pounds. It was just tough to get them off there. A little bit more finicky. It was a little bit tougher. I managed to get a couple off, which were real nice bass. So, and I haven't even posted those pictures yet. So, this weekend, just to get on the fishing thing, this weekend I'll be having the GoPro on me the whole time. So we got a little bit of an updated GoPro. So
are you done bragging about your weekend?
I'm sorry,
because we got to get to a show.
That was I kind of folded it.
No, you're just rubbing in our faces.
I'm done.
I can see it in your eyes. So what do you want to do? You want to take some viewer mail? You want to talk about current events?
Let's do both. What do you got in viewer mail? Let's hit that.
You've got mail.
Let's do it.
We get letters. We get
Stop. Whoa, yes. Wait a minute, Mr. Postman.
Send me an email with all the details.
Another freaking email. Another freaking email song.
Mail time. Mail time. The mail's here.
Yeah, I'm a top flight, hold you tight, get you there by daylight, do you right overnight mail.
You know, that's a lot of people's favorite stuff right there.
I love it.
Me too. Absolutely love it.
So, Rodney, our first question comes from Chad in Tampa, Florida.
Chad and Tampa. Come on, Chad and Tampa.
Wants to know, should you use a fluorocarbon leader with braided line or tie it directly to the plastic worm?
Should you use fluorocarbon with braided line? The answer to that question is yes. And then what was the second part?
Or tie it directly to the plastic worm.
Okay, or tie the braided to. Now, here's the deal. And I'll tell you how I do it, and everybody has their preference. Fluorocarbon is an amazing product. It literally, that line disappears in the water. So, it will increase your catch rate if you use fluorocarbon all the time. So you come down the braided line, the last 2.5 feet, 3 feet is fluorocarbon. That will increase your fish catch rate. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
Now, the only time I use fluorocarbon is in saltwater conditions, when I'm fishing for redfish, snook, or trout. And the reason is you seem to have a little better success when you're fishing those fish than you do bass. Pretty much, they don't care. I fish straight braid to hook when I'm bass fishing, and I'm very successful at it. And I'm not saying that to pat myself on the back. It's just it works for me. If I'm in a tournament and I'm in clear water conditions, I got a pole that I keep fluorocarbon on because I want a little bit better success rate. But saltwater, yes. Freshwater, not so important.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay. So that's how I do it. I mean, that's and it works for me. So yes, absolutely. When conditions call for it, yes.
Okay. Rodney, you're aware that on our website, you can leave your questions directly on our website, yes?
Yes.
Are you new to this concept?
Not okay. On our website, what now? I'm sorry. I'm answering.
Are you doing your own separate show over there?
No, we're good.
I think you actually have 3 different broadcasts going at this one time.
It's like a.
So
okay.
on our website,
yes,
there's a button at the right-hand side you can click on and leave a voicemail or
yes,
a question
yes,
or whatever.
I'm sorry. Yes, you can.
So we actually had one pop in from that. Yeah, no, tell me about it. So
let us have
this
it.
This is from a Carla.
A Carla or a Carla?
A Carla? I don't know.
A Carla.
It's coming.
Here it comes. Ready? 2, 1, cue.
Hang on.
Cue.
My bad.
Ready? Cue.
Ready?
This way. At any rate, wanted to let you know this.
I'm new to this whole thing.
Hey, Rodney, it's Carla Haskell. I got your message you left last night in regards to going fishing this weekend. So I actually deleted the message too quick and wasn't able to write your number down. So hopefully you get the message this way. At any rate, wanted to let you know this weekend, unfortunately, we have a prior commitment, so we're not going to be able to do anything this weekend. The next weekend that we're probably going to be available definitively would be the second weekend in May. Possibly the first weekend, but I can say definitively the second weekend. So I know everything with you last minute, and
hold on.
You don't know if you're going to go fish until that week, so we're not in any rush. Just feel free to keep us on the list and keep checking back in with us.
Oh, yes.
Hopefully we'll connect soon. Our number is 352-419.
Okay.
There. So it's
for a good time.
Yeah, it's offshore fishing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's offshore fishing.
So so that the question was, I'm not sure I understood the question this caller had. Are you there?
The husband and wife.
Okay.
wanted to go offshore fishing.
It's fine.
That's an old. That's got to be an old message. When
Really?
did it come in?
I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was left on our Google voicemail. Yeah.
Yeah, so yes, but
Yeah.
somebody left it. I think she didn't have your number, so she went to the website and utilized this function,
Right on.
which I'll put her up on the screen. The arrow pointing to the click here,
Yes.
but obviously, keep in mind that if you click something, there's a good chance we're going to put it on the air. So
Yeah, absolutely.
So monitor-
There's a 99%
yeah,
chance.
so if it's a
we're-
personal, maybe not click on. Oh, by the way, the big red arrow is not part of the website, so that was for
Amen.
direction purposes.
Direction. You won't see that arrow. So
Let's ask another question.
lay it on me.
I don't know. Let's see. How about this one? Here's a two-part question, Rodney.
Let me have
from Ryan in Pensacola.
Come on, Ryan.
Number one, are bass territorial?
Yes.
And number two,
I'll elaborate on that. Let me hear the other part.
actually, are bass territorial, or do they relocate a lot in order to eat bait fish?
They do relocate. They migrate. They're just like anything else. Water temperature dictates where they are at certain times of the year. So pay attention to that. So bass will migrate. They'll find channels, cooler channels, warmer channels. So pay attention to weather. This is where, how do I explain it? This is where temperature makes all the difference in the world, because what most people forget is that temperature dictates location of all fish in the world. Unless your pond is 1 foot deep all the way across and they have nowhere to go,
Interesting.
then temperature dictates the depth of which oxygen exists. So oxygen levels change. So you need to pay attention, so
Okay.
to speak. So barometric pressure and all that, you don't need to get to that degree, but you definitely need, they do migrate back and forth. Now, they will migrate in the same areas. It's not like they're going to travel 29 miles south and then stay down there. Most of the time, where they live is where they live, especially big bass. So yes, they are territorial, because once they get close to a structure, they kind of hog up the area. If you go to Bass Pro Shop and you look at the fish tank, you'll see the smaller bass swimming around the center. You'll see the larger bass with their locations up
Interesting.
against the walls. Pay attention to that, because that's how it is in the real world. Study those fish. Watch what the bait fish do. Watch what the bass do, And then those events are what actually, what I need to do? I need to go to Bass Pro and just film that whole thing and then show you why everything is happening the way it is.
That'd be an interesting Facebook Live, just something live to do, because you can talk us through it while you're just pointing the camera.
That's actually a great idea, and I'm going to do that.
That'd be cool.
Yeah,
Easy peasy.
It's just there's a whole what you call it, a whole
ecosystem
ecosystem
or tank of water or store.
What's the level of hierarchy is what I'm looking for. There's a hierarchy.
Ice cream. I thought you were going for ice cream somewhere. I'm just gonna...
So I'm getting that we can't. For some reason, the online is not firing up correctly, and they would like me to fire up the Facebook Live so we can see it again. So
What?
for some reason, the website isn't working for some people. So I'm answering that question now. And so anyway, I thought
Here's another question for you, Rodney.
lay it on me.
From Onyx
Onyx.
2317, Rodney,
Okay.
says, does talking affect fishing?
Okay.
And does bait color make a difference?
Okay. So,
The first question is, I'm really interested in this answer.
okay. So, the question is, hold on, we're back on Facebook Live. So the question is, does talking affect fishing? A lot of people think that's an urban myth. In some instances, talking affects fishing, but on a whole, no, it does not. Here's the key. There's all kind of noises, and now if you're dancing and doing the Irish shuffle in your boat, you're probably going to scare the fish away. But generally, talking while you're fishing does not scare away the fish. What scares away the fish is the other things, movements. You would rather have, you know, a talking in the boat than sudden movements. If you're fishing like bed fishing, if you're fishing for bass or any other fish on the bed and you're at the water's edge and then, you're talking, then you're most likely going to scare that bass off the bed. So I'll repost some videos that I posted last year of me bed fishing. And basically what you see me moving only my hands and not my arm into a full cast. So basically I got my rod here and I'm just flipping it out. This is the, literally
interesting, yeah.
very minimal wrist action in the pole to keep the fish, because fish can see out of the water. They can see a bird at 50 feet in the air swooping in on them. So they can see. Don't think they can't. So movement is the most important thing when you're on water. Movement is the key.
So
Talking, not so much.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So if you've got your dog with you running up and down the banks, that could be spooking the fish.
You're done.
Okay.
Absolutely. That is spooking fish.
Okay.
Movement is key. I can stand at the edge of the bank and talk all day, but the minute I start walking toward the water, I'll see fish swim off the bank. And the reason is they can hear those footsteps on the ground.
Okay.
It's the movement. And then when my shadow hits in, poof, the fish is gone.
Okay.
They are very keen on shadows. They know right before a shadow is a bird, and then they get hit by claws.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
So they do have a memory. The next part of the question was
The bait color.
The bait color. Now, this weekend we kind of proved that my son is watching this now. So this weekend we kind of proved that bait color is not the most important thing, because we were all using the same bait and we were all using different colors and we were all catching the same amount of fish, relatively same amount of fish. Here's the thing. As we're fishing, we're all using a swim bait. Now, we've got probably about 11 different colors in the swim bait. So each one of us was fishing a different color. That was the key. The pattern is more important than the color. And what I mean by pattern is, if you're out there fishing, and when I say pattern, it's depth, reel speed, and action. So we were using a swim bait. We were reeling in real slow. Once I was catching fish before most people, and the first question to them is not what color bait are you using, how are you fishing it? You know what I mean? The fish tell me they want it nice and slow right across the grass, and then that's how I fish it. So it's more important on how you fish it than it is the color.
Interesting.
So
Randy wants to know about shirt color.
Shirt
just
color.
tie into the same thing while you're fishing from the bank. Is there a story behind this, or is that a
well,
question?
he had a bright shirt on. He
Okay.
had the Rodney Rogers Outdoors lime green. And that could make a difference, because he caught the least amount. Not the least amount. I mean, well, no, I can't even say that, because him and my other nephew caught about the same amount of fish. Randy had a bright shirt on, and the other one had a neutral shirt.
Okay.
Most people will wear camouflage, believe it or not. Some people wear camouflage when they're bass fishing, so they blend into the background.
Sure.
Visual thing. It's all visual. So I would say your clothes color are more important than your lure color, because once you find the pattern, they're on it. Once you find what they want, it doesn't matter what color you're using. When you ask another fisherman, hey, I caught 9 bass today. I caught none. What was your pattern? Most people go, what were you fishing with?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly, yeah.
What was your pattern? Well, I was reeling real slow, or I was reeling real fast, And when you're fishing small ponds, be prepared, because that pattern may not work in every pond. Temperature is different. The size of the pond is different. The water clarity is different. So you've got to adjust to every pond that you go to, and you may have to adjust the retrieval speed, or you may have to adjust, the time that it sits in the water. So,
is one more important than the other?
I wouldn't.
Is speed
Yes.
is speed at the top of the list?
I think retrieval speed is at the top, because that dictates how that fish reacts to the speed. If you're too slow, they can stare at it and go, I know what it is. But here's my theory. You want to hear my theory?
Yeah, totally.
Let me get my lips wet. You ready?
Let me get my lips wet then too. Fine.
And get my coffee in me. Okay, here is my theory from my 30-plus years of bass fishing. My theory is everybody goes, well, why are you catching fish on that bait? Because there's nothing out there like that. When you go to Bass Pro Shop and you see these shiners swimming in the center of the tank, and you go, well, why ain't those bass attacking those shiners? And I go, why ain't you chasing a cow in a pasture? Because you know how fast the cow is. Now, if you're hungry and you see,
Okay. No, that's good.
work with me here. If you're hungry and you see the cow with a wounded leg, you're not going to chase the cows that aren't wounded because you know how fast they are.
Sure.
You're going to chase the guy who is wounded. It works the same way in the fishing world. When they attack those baits that they've never seen, they don't know the limitations of what that bait can do. But they know the limitations of what a shiner can do. They know how quick they are. But when they see something different, they're going to test the waters. I'm charging it. I don't know what it is. I'm just going to eat it. Bass don't care what they eat. They're just there to eat. That's why their mouths are so big. So they'll chase it and eat it. If they catch it, it's a success to them. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So that's where retrieval speed comes in. Temperature dictates their metabolism, how fast how well, what they're willing to eat. Remember, I said all fish, bass, snook, everything has a strike zone of their comfort level. At the prime time, which is right now, their strike zones may be as far. I watched a bass this weekend chase my bait from 30 feet away.
Wow.
In super clear water.
Wow.
I watched him come at it, and then pow, he hit my bait. So when it's real hot and they're real sluggish, that 30-foot strike zone may now shrink down to 2 feet. So you got to be a little closer, and you got to be a little slower. Does that make sense?
What about pause and retrieve?
Pause and retrieve. And I always tell everybody, when you fish with a single bait, you have 20 different methods to fish it. Exhaust all those methods before you switch. You may have the right bait. You may just be using the wrong method. Speed it up. Slow it down. Dead stick it. And what I mean by dead sticking, and that worked for me this weekend, lay it out there and count to 20. Just count to 20. And then start reeling. And that's when they hit. It happened to me twice this weekend. 2 of the biggest fish this weekend came from dead sticking. Dead sticking means throw your lure out there and let it sit and don't do another thing to it. Just watch it. And then, pow, next thing you know, you got a fish. And how I found that method is my buddy used to backlash his pole, and he would pull his line out, and then when he reeled in, he's got a fish on the line. And I'm going, wait a minute. There's something to that, So I started doing it when I fish with a rubber worm.
Because you think more of from live bait, maybe dead sticking, because you're going to let the live bait do the action.
Well, the live bait, yeah, exactly. The live bait does all its action, and dead sticking is where the question come from earlier. Are bass territorial? And the answer is yes, because when you get that bait in a big bass's face, they get more. Remember why they bite?
Yeah.
Curiosity, anger, hunger. And the curiosity and anger
Agitates them.
is more than the hunger. They'll feed. And that's why I fish artificial, because 9 times out of 10, I will catch 5 times more bass than someone fishing with a shiner.
Sure.
And I'll catch bigger bass. So, the shiners do catch big bass. But, I got 2 13-pounders under my belt on artificial bait. That says something. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying it works.
Yeah.
If it works, use it. Don't change it.
Yeah.
And, and that day that I caught one of my biggest, the 13-pounder, everybody was fishing the same bait that I was, except I was fishing mine slower. We were all fishing topwater frogs, and the only difference was I had my frog underwater and not on top, and I was reeling it real slow, and that's when he hit it. So retrieval speed, that makes all the difference in the world.
You ever fish with sausage?
No.
Hot dogs?
Yeah, this weekend actually.
Catfish, right?
Catfish with hot dogs. So yeah, they love them. Man, them catfish love them some hot dogs, boy.
Because it's not hot dogs. It's not real meat.
It's other stuff that they like very much so. So that's what I mean. Retrieval speed is the key. If I had to say, we only took we took my whole tackle box, and you've seen my tackle box.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous. We took it this weekend. We didn't have to change the lure one time.
Wow.
We fished one lure all weekend, caught almost 80 bass.
Wow.
That says something. You know what I mean? In every pond, we had to change our retrieves.
80 bass?
80, not 80. I could flood my page with bass.
Wow.
And it'd be selfies.
Wow. Yeah.
With selfies. And here's how we do it. Our thing is the one with the biggest bass, we bet a buffalo nickel. An actual 1936
The
buffalo
wooden nickel?
Almost.
It's not wooden?
Right after. It's actually
Okay.
it's actually silver. Or I don't know what our buffalo nickels are. They ain't silver. They're nickel. They're made out of nickel.
Yeah, nickel. That makes sense.
Yeah. So the bet is, and I won 2 buffalo nickels this weekend because Saturday and Sunday I caught the biggest fish. So I went for biggest fish and not numbers. Now my cousin Nick, he went for big numbers, and he caught 33 bass in one day. Now they were all 6-8 inches long, but he was after those aggressive bass.
Yeah.
I was after a little more sluggish, a little more, the bigger bass. And a lot of times the bigger bass won't chase a fast-moving bait. So I caught less bass, but poundage-wise, I smoked him, dog. Smoked him.
Congratulations.
I just had to throw that. In case he's listening, I just wanted him to know that I smoked him. Smoker.
You're a winner.
So, so we always bet, it's a friendly thing. It's just how it works. And Randy caught his biggest bass of the weekend. Now, Randy was fishing pretty slow. And he caught his biggest to date, which is 3 pounds, 1 ounce. So we got a question. Michelle says, is a dead bait good to use? You know what? In some cases, dead bait's good to use for like those catfish or if you're using redfish. Dead bait is awesome for redfish. Ladyfish, mullet, cut up mullet.
Now, if you were fishing with, yeah, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, if you're fishing with dead bait, necessarily, would that be a good? My mouth is malfunctioning. A good dead sticking opportunity? Or
In
not?
some cases.
Depends on what you're catching.
Well, it depends
right?
on what you're fishing for. If you're targeting bass, dead bait is not a good bait. Have people caught fish off dead baits? Absolutely.
Because I think of that more as you're going to catch the bottom feeders, and I think of catfish more as just going along the bottom eating what's.
Yeah.
I mean, is that even close to accurate?
Yeah, catfish love dead bait. As a matter of fact, we used dead brim to catch the catfish we caught the other night.
Okay.
So here's another question. Are you ready?
Ready, Rodney.
I've got a question, not to do with fishing. Are there gators in Lake Minneola? I've been walking along the lake this week, and both days I've sworn I heard a gator. It sounded like grunting. So.
I got this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lay it on them. You ready?
I just did. Yeah.
Mike has this one. Go ahead. I thought you said you had.
Oh, I did.
Oh. What?
Yeah.
The answer to that
Did
question.
I nail it?
The answer to that question is no.
What?
No, it's not gators. It's frogs. They're big bullfrogs. They're actually big bullfrogs. The odds of you hearing a gator is very slim.
But what are the odds that there's gators there?
In
Come on,
Lake
really?
Minneola. And the only reason is because, remember, I used to do gator hunts. And a guy tagged for Lake Minneola. He actually tagged Lake County. So he wanted to hunt Lake Minneola. So I pre-hunted that lake and went out there and said,
nothing.
I'm going to go find this guy some gators. First of all, Lake Minneola has no gators. So I had to go a couple lakes over, and then I finally found a 3-foot gator. And I did this for 3 days. The night he hunted, we did the same route. I told him, look, dude, I would not hunt this lake. I would pick a different lake. And then we only found the same 3-foot gator that I found the 3 nights previous.
Yeah, but the possibility of there being gators in that lake.
Are very good.
I mean, any body of water, right? I
Absolutely.
mean, there's going to potentially.
Oh, yeah, because I'll tell you what. You want to hear something happen to me this weekend? Are you ready for this?
You know, whenever you say Lake Minneola, you know what I think?
What do you think?
Here's a bonus trivia quiz for you.
Oh, okay.
I think of Lake Minnetonka.
The camping
Nope.
Minnetonka.
Lake Minnetonka.
Willy Wonka?
It's relevant to a current event as of this week.
Minnetonka.
Does anybody
Really?
know what Lake Minnetonka?
What is Lake Minnetonka?
You remember the movie Purple Rain?
I do.
That's the lake they went up to.
I'll be
in Purple
damned.
Rain, and with the passing of Prince this week.
Wow.
I was a huge Prince fan.
Was you?
He was on my bucket list to see. Probably the last person left who I really would have loved to see in concert.
Brilliant guy. I had a chance to see him in Miami and turned it down.
It's crazy.
Yeah, had the tickets in my hand.
I know this is not that show, but that
Yeah.
that actually I was
absolutely.
moved by that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
But
Brilliant,
anyways,
brilliant man.
Lake Minnetonka, Lake Mineola.
I did see that movie, but it's been 100 years since I saw it.
It was 100 years ago.
So Jay says, "Whew, thank God." No, you're safe. What was I? I was going to say something. Mike.
Yeah, until I started talking about Lake Minnetonka.
Lake Mineola, no gators. We hunted. Blah blah blah. Oh, so here's what happened to me this weekend. So, I am fishing a bed, right? Now, we had been to this lake a little bit previous.
Now, can you actually see?
You can see the bed that the fish made, and you can see the fish in it.
Okay.
The fish is just like waiting. She has her eggs in there, and she's guarding it. Any other fish that comes in to eat those eggs, she'll attack it.
And you can actually see them.
You can see them. They're right
Because
there.
of the type of sunglasses you're wearing?
Well,
because I always struggle with that.
Yeah, it is the polarized glasses, and most of the time they do it in shallow water. And they do it in shallow water because it's good sandy base.
Okay, that makes sense.
So, what happens is, as you know, the eggs are real sticky. They stick to the sand. They need a good sandy bottom. So as birds walk through the shallow water, they get those eggs stuck on their legs, and those birds carry them to other lakes, and they wash off, and that's how fish get in other lakes. I'm not going down the bees road with you. I got the birds out of the
That's
way.
good.
You're gonna have to go to your parents for the bees.
Baby steps, Rodney. Baby steps.
So, so I'm sitting there, and there was a pile of hogs. Someone had killed a hog and put the guts in this pond, and we kept smelling this awful smell. And Nick says, "Dude, there's hog guts over there." So I'm fishing by those hog guts. You ready? So I get in the water to see this fishing bed. I'm in the water, and I'm watching. And out of the corner of my eye, I see a little bit of movement. It's like green algae slime over the lake. It's about 30 feet of this slime. And I look over, and I see a little bit of movement. And I look over, and I go, okay, whatever it was, okay, it's not there, whatever. And I go to fishing. The next thing I know, this 9-foot alligator rises out of the water. He sees me, and I see him, and he's on the other side of the bed I'm fishing, which is only 10 feet away. He's 9 feet long. I could touch him with the end of my pole. Now, I'm trying to get Nick's attention to tell him to look how big this gator is. In the meantime, I'm going, it doesn't dawn on me that I'm in the water with this thing. So finally, Mike, it explodes. Now, it explodes in a fashion that I couldn't tell which direction he was
Just
going.
a splash of water.
It was just a massive splash of water, and I'm thinking I could get away. But in reality, if it was after me, I was bit.
Yeah.
It was done.
Yeah.
You know, and I was for the first time in a long time, I was a wee bit shooken up by that. I thought, wow, that was quick. You know, so luckily he swam away. But that's, if I would have caught a fish, picture this, if I'd have caught that fish and it would have started splashing and I didn't see that gator, which I didn't because he was right there, what do you think he would have done? As I reached down and grabbed that fish,
Yeah.
he would have inadvertently got me at the same time.
Yeah.
So it would have been a struggle.
Wow.
You know, so that was that's just my kind of thing of watch what's out there. Be careful. You know, keep your eyes open, keep them peeled, and whoo, doggy.
You didn't have your gator boots on?
I did not. I was barefooted. So, you ready for the next question? What do you got?
I got more questions on your phone.
Okay. Right. Okay. So, oh my God, you're so crazy. I'm relieved to hear that there aren't any gators in Lake Mineola. All I was thinking to myself while I walked away was zigzag, zigzag. So, Mike, I'm going to let you answer the zigzag question. Mike and I were in the Everglades, and Mike wanted to camp really bad. So I was like, man, we probably ought not set the tent up on the side of this road. And Mike couldn't really understand why. And here it is, 2 o'clock in the morning, and we have a 10-foot alligator walking right down the middle of the road. So what was the one thing I said? Let's see how fast this alligator can run,
Yep.
or if the zigzag
Yep.
pattern will.
Exactly what you said.
I said, let's put this zigzag pattern to the test.
Yep, that's exactly what you said.
So I walk up, and this alligator's walking right down the middle of the road, and I walk up and I basically boot it right in the rear. I mean, like plunk with my boot right in the rear. This alligator takes off, and I'm trying to run beside it.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it makes a left-hand turn right at me. And he wasn't after me in general, but he could have had me.
Yeah.
So I had to jump over this gator while he ran down into the ditch. So if they want you, they will get you. I'm just saying. Okay, so here we go. I'm looking at buying a new bait caster rod, or bait caster and rod. Any recommendations? So here's a great question. We actually went shopping for a bait caster for Nick this weekend. Here's the way I would start. I would start on what would I use it for the most, salt or fresh water, because that is actually a big difference. You can use them in both locations. So I would start in both locations. Once I ascertain what I would go to, if it's saltwater, because most of my reels are saltwater reels. They're the round. I have the Cardiffs and the Calcuttas, and I use them for bass fishing and saltwater fishing. They work great, and it is absolutely impeccable. As a matter of fact, they're 15 years old, and they work so great that Nick says, "Dude, I always fish with this reel when I fish with you. I want to buy it." Because we went to look for it, and nobody, they sell so much, they weren't in stock. Nobody had them. He said, let me buy this combo off of you. And it's a Cardiff reel. It's a 100, which I don't even make anymore. The next one you can get is a Cardiff 200, and I'll post that on our Facebook. And a 7-foot rod, and it is absolutely, positively one of the best bait casters. I own 3 of them, and I own 2 Calcutta. So I have 5 total, and I use them for salt and fresh. And I can't see me ever buying another reel.
You like it because of the balance?
It is a great balance. It has the perfect amount of line for redfish and bass fishing.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And snook and trout, and I use it for both. And then I have obviously I have a great setup of spin cast reels. So if I'm going to recommend a bait caster, a lot of people don't like the round bait casters. I'm going to recommend the Calcutta, which is $229, or the Cardiff, which is $129. Equally as good, if I had to pick between the two, would be the Cardiff and a 7-foot rod, fast action. So that's the way I would go. If I'm going to recommend it, I'm going to recommend what I use every day.
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
And it works for me, absolutely. Now,
That's the best recommendation.
You can get online, and that question will be debated for the eternity. Everybody has their own setup that they use, and they're very successful with
Do you
it.
think history plays a part of that?
History meaning, when you say history plays a part?
History as far as what you've grown up with, what you've used over the years, just a comfort level built into whatever product you're using?
I think so. There's when people like friends, I've got friends that have used certain reels. They use the low profile bass reels. I'm just not that guy. I don't like those reels. While they are low profile, they are a bit lighter because I do both fishing, salt and fresh. That reel just doesn't work as well. I cannot get the distance out of that as I can out
You
of
like
mine.
something that's a little more all around?
Yeah, I like an all. Yeah, I need something that's ambidextrous, so to speak. So I need to be on both sides because I can take those offshore and catch mahi beside the boat, And I'm gonna tell you what another thing that happened. Where we at on time, man? I'm gonna talk us right into.
You got 5 minutes, buddy.
Oh, we do.
Yeah.
Holy moly!
Yeah, it's good though. I told you we're going to be flooded with questions tonight.
So Randy, my nephew, bought his first great setup, $200, rod and reel combo. I hooked him. I told him what to buy. He did great. He had monofilament on his line. So he goes, how do I tie this knot on this hook? I said, you know what? You can tie a granny knot. You're fishing with monofilament. It doesn't matter because you're going to lose that hook anyway.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
So I said, do you know how to tie a fisherman's knot? He goes, yeah. And I said, well, tie a fisherman's knot, but it's not going to matter because you're fishing with monofilament. You're going to lose that hook anyway. So tie whatever you want. He caught a fish, and on his next fish, it got caught in the weeds, and he's trying to pull it out, and he broke the line. Monofilament. So he goes, never again. I will not. Once you lose one fish off monofilament, it has its place. Fishing for bass in weedy areas is not its place. So next thing you know, we're stopping by Bass Pro Shop, and he is absolutely buying $50 worth of braided line so he can put on a couple of his poles.
Wow.
Braided line is absolutely king today in fluorocarbon. Fluorocarbon is even stronger than monofilament. But like I said, it has its place.
Where is that place?
I don't know, but I'm sure it's out there.
It has its place because of
Yeah.
cost? Of cost?
It has its place
Is it
because
the lower
of cost.
end of the spectrum as far as cost?
Absolutely. It really is. And I can't complain about it because my largest bass of 13 pounds, 6 ounces came off 17-pound trilene big game fishing line. And I was a firm believer in that stuff. That was, my gosh, 1993.
Okay.
Or 1996 is when I caught that. So braided line was just coming into the market, and it was expensive, so it was not cost efficient.
No.
But now, when you put that on your pole, it'll last you 5 years.
Sure.
So and it lasts me 5 years, and I fish every single day.
Yeah.
So that's an attest to its durability and what works. So when someone tells you, hey, go this route that does it every day, I gain nothing by telling you that. You gain success. This is what works for me. I've logged 130-something bass so far this year. We're 4 months in. We're just into the 4th month.
Sure.
So, most people I know haven't caught that many bass. So it works. Wow, Mike. We're out of show, buddy. We're like 3 minutes. We're out of show.
It happens. Happens to the best of them, Rodney.
What can I say, Mike?
Yeah, we got nothing.
We got anything else to squeeze in?
Anything else you want to get off your chest?
Whoo.
No, it wasn't a heavy news week as far as the FWC, so that's why I kind of skipped over that part. There wasn't really anything
So I'll take
blazing there. Take it.
time me. 30 seconds. Question came in. Why is there's an
That's
alligator?
the 60-minute sound.
That's the 60 second or 60 minutes.
Remember that?
Yeah,
We'll be right back.
we'll be right back. There's an alligator in Atlanta. It's a big deal. So the question was, Rodney, why is this a big deal? It's an alligator.
Good question.
It's in Atlanta. But, the news crews, blah, blah, blah. Everybody's taking pictures. And here's why. Because that is very far up there for an alligator to be. Alligators are reptiles, and that is just not their range. Can they survive? Absolutely. Turtles survive. There's turtles up north. Surely there's, alligators can live too.
Where was it?
Just south of Atlanta. When I say
in a pond?
I guess it was in a pond or some lake or something. And so the question is why is it such a big deal? Because that's not their range. They're not supposed to be there.
How far north is where's the cutoff point where you stop
the cutoff
seeing
point? The Okefenokee Swamp, which is right at the Florida-Georgia border. There's a little bit some north of there, but it's not many. That's about, in South Carolina, the southern edge of it. And then, of course, once you get over to Mississippi,
Louisiana.
Yeah. But, they can literally travel the Mississippi River all the way up into Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't. The water's too cold. It's not their habitat. They digest their food by temperature. They're fully regulated by temperature. So there's not enough warm temperature. They would die. So, but the question is, why is that a big deal? It's because it's just not their range. Odds are that alligator wouldn't live, through the year. Someone probably let it go. They'll find out that someone had it and most likely let it go. I doubt very seriously that it's there naturally. So
I could see that. Somebody threw it in the back of their truck.
absolutely. So, hey, get this gator out of here before we get caught, boy. So why do I always use like an old hick voice?
No one's sure, Rodney. No one can answer that
That's
question.
just what I'm good at. Or I could say, my Lord, look, there's an alligator.
Downton Abbey.
Downton Abbey.
Yeah, very nice. Very nice.
Very nice. Hello, Governor. There's an alligator in that there pond.
I'm British.
I'm British. Oh. So anyway, Mike, our show's over. You got anything else?
I got nothing.
What do we got coming up? Any events?
Well, you're going offshore fishing, so
That's an event.
please, because I'll be in Atlanta this weekend, so I'll be watching Facebook for your live posts.
Yes.
Do you do any Periscope anymore? You're pretty much Facebook Live.
You know
They've
what?
made it really easy.
Yeah,
haven't
they have, and I don't Periscope as often as I should, but I try to share. You know what I mean? A little Periscope, a little Facebook.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I
but
try to share it
you,
out.
you got most people follow you on Facebook, and it archives it there, so it's nice to see it later.
Yes, Alan, I'm coming peacock fishing. About how many peacocks for me? Alan Beecher, we're going to go peacock fishing with Alan. Alan is going to get me my first peacock. And then he's coming up here on a trip, and I'm going to wear him out on bass.
Was Alan down in Miami?
Alan is that Fort Myers area.
Alan.
So I'm going to take him to my 13-pound bass hole.
Wait a minute.
Uh-oh.
This one's mine.
This one's yours?
Camera 1, camera 2, camera 1.
Gotcha.
Alan, please get Rodney peacock bass.
Yeah.
I'd love to be there. I'd love to videotape it because this will be epic.
Yes.
Please, Alan, get Rodney peacock bass, please.
Yes. That is absolutely on top on my bucket list, and Alan's going to hook us up. So, Mike, we're out of show.
We're out of show, Rodney.
We're out of time. Uh-oh. Mike's got
Now we're out of town. I just love that song.
I know.
It puts me in a mood.
It's always a good mood.
It's like one for the road. You know what I mean?
Well, thank you guys for listening. We will be here every Tuesday at 8 p.m. It's our vacation. You can't miss us. We love having you guys, and I just love doing this every weekend. So, as my mama said 18 gazillion times, and I pray I get to say it half as much, you kids get outside and stay.